Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and I hope you are okay on that side of the screen. And today with something really interesting to control and to get our air conditioning a lot smarter. And in the past we have seen some other devices that are a lot less complex and a lot less smarter. This one has a really interesting feature that I'm sure that you will love, even though if you purchase it or not, doesn't matter. It's a type of technology that's very interesting, and I will show you just a few moments. Now I will also show you the location that I've got my Ambi climate, which is right on top of that monitor. I'll show you with another camera. I've got the air conditioning right over there, so I want to share with you all the experience right over here, and especially the artificial intelligent feature, and no Skynets, no Terminators and whatsoever. Now let's start really quickly with a very quick unboxing experience. We'll find inside this really nice package the Ambi Climate Generation 2, a USB to micro USB cable and a power adapter which will be used for charging. Now for those that were asking on the social networks, does it work with Google Assistant? Yes, it does. I've tried and I've had a lot of fun with it. Although sometimes I'm lazy to use Google, I do it myself, but it works really nice. I can say, hey Google, turn on the office AC, for example, and it will turn on. I can use the manual mode. I can say, hey, put the office to 25 degrees, for example, and it will put to 25 or whatever I decide. And then I can also use the comfortable mode, which I'll share with you guys, which is the artificial intelligence, where I can say, hey Google, tell Ambi that I'm hot here in the office, and it will trigger the artificial intelligence, and it will use the algorithm to put my room closer to whatever I find comfortable, which I will explain how it works. Now before that, let me show you in terms of location, and for that I will use my phone right over here. As you can see, I'm recording with this camera. The air conditioner is right on that end of the office, and then right over here is the Ambi climate. And the reason that I did chosen that location right over there, because the first location that I placed was somewhere around there, and it was not the best because the air conditioner is too close to that, and the place that I sit obviously is here. This is where I spend most of my time. So if you get one of these units, you will have to think the best place to put so that you can tell it your comfortable zone. It's exactly at the other end of the room. This also has a few downsides if someone uses my office right over there, because I might be comfortable here, but that person is too cold or too warm. But this is something that we have to consider if we are in a work environment with a lot of people. So probably in that particular case, we have to put it somewhere else. So just have that in mind, because location is important. Before I show you guys here on the app how it works, one more thing that I would like to mention is that it will measure the inside temperature and also the percentage of humidity that we have in the air, and it will grab also data from the outside on the web server. So we will have always 4 values in terms of temperature. 2 values are inside and outside, and also humidity outside and inside, which will give along with the data that I will feed in, if I'm comfortable, if I'm cold, if I'm warm, the data that it needs to make me comfortable. So that being said, let's take a look at the app. At this moment I'm using the comfortable mode, which is the artificial intelligence. This is one of my favorite modes, this one and one other that I will feature in just a few moments. If we look here, I've got the comfort, temperature, away, manual and off. Now one of the things that we'll need to do when we receive the package is tell the unit if I'm warm, if I'm cold, and at this moment I'm comfortable, because that's the truth. I've got 24.4 degrees Celsius right over here. I'm comfortable. The air conditioner is just working to maintain this temperature. But if I say that I'm too warm, for example, it will accept my feedback and it will trigger a action for the air conditioner to get the temperature more aggressive, in this particular case colder, so that I can get a better feeling to feel comfortable, obviously. Now the way around can also work. Let's say that I was too cold, which doesn't happen, and just send a signal to put the temperature higher. For those of you that know where I live in Portugal, Algarve, and it's almost warm every year around. We are in October and it's really warm, but this is the way that it will learn the way that I feel comfortable or not. Now if I put comfy at this moment, it will trigger again another action. I don't know if you can hear it or not, to maintain the room as it is. So this is really great. I can leave it like this because at this moment, with the days that I've been working with it, it already learned the temperature that I want to have right over here, so it will act on its own, and it's just great. Now if you ask me, hey Robert, what about, is that really useful in real life, or this is something just curious and fun? No, I would say that in terms of users like myself that don't use very intensive the air conditioner, not so much. Is really nice, but not so much necessary. But for those users that have companies have a very intensive usage of air conditioning, this can at the end of the year save a lot of money and also save trouble, because we will have to let him know how we want to work, but after that it will work on its own and we can just leave it. It will turn off when it needs to turn off, it will maintain when it needs to maintain, it will get colder, warmer when it needs. It just needs to learn. We can teach it, and that's about it. Don't worry at all. And in those particular cases, it's really interesting to have this kind of technology available to us. Now, one more thing that I would like to show before we go to other modes is that if I go to the history right over here, you will see that it will give me data. I've been testing this since 27th of September, if I'm not mistaken, was the first day. So I've got a few data right over here, but it will show me when I was using the manual, when it was off, when it was on comfort mode, for example, if I was using any other mode. If you guys take a look here at the screen on the app, the red signal, or the red line, sorry, that it's more intensive, it's the indoor temperature. So I've got at this moment 24 degrees right over here, and then it was rising a little bit to 25, but nothing special. Let me show you another day right over here. This one, for example, I was using the office for sure. Here the temperature was a little bit lower, and then it rised when the sunshine came, and then it was too hot, for example, right over here, and then I put it on the comfort mode and it did trigger actions to take it to the 24, for example. At the same time, we can see down below a white line. Indoor humidity is the strongest line, and then the weakest line is the outdoor humidity. And of course, we can see the hours right over here. It was nighttime, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and it means that I've got 90% humidity outside, and then when the sun rises, the humidity will lower, of course, and inside it will maintain. So I've got a lot of data right over here. It's a complex machine. It has a lot of stuff. For those of you that love technology, you'll find this a very interesting device. I also have a few more things right over here in terms of insights. I have some curiosities right over here that will not talk here, so that I don't make this video longer than I need to, but you can see on screen right over there that we have a lot of features that are really interesting, and it will learn how to use it and learn how we feel comfortable, and it will adjust without doing anything at all after it learns. Now, one more thing that we can do here is the AC settings. I can say, hey, I just want you to control certain aspects. For example, I just want you to control the temperature in terms of cold and warm. I don't want you to control the fan, and I don't want you to control the humidity on the room. I will control that. This is one of the options, or I can just limit and leave it to cool or heat or something like that. And then I also have the AC controls that I want to leave available for him to use or not. So although it is very intelligent, I can block, I can limit the way that it uses. So if I don't want him to mess up with the fan speed, which at this moment is not, because I don't want him to speed really fast and make noise, this is one of the great features. If I don't mind about the fan, then I will let him work with the fan. Now, moving on to another mode, I've got the temperature mode, which I can just say, hey, I want 18 degrees, which just set to 18 right now, or I want 26 degrees right over here, and it will trigger an action for the 26 degrees that I just placed right over here, or anything on the limit of my AC. Of course, my limit is 32 Celsius and 18, so I can choose any of these, 25, and it will trigger to 25. This is a manual mode, if I can say so. What it says right over here is temperature. There's also one which is the away. This is my second favorite, really nice. I can say, hey, I want my room below 23 degrees or above something degrees. In this particular case, it's for the cool, so I want below 23, and at this moment indoors I've got 24.9 degrees. So it will lower up to the 22 and something, and it will shut down. And once it detects that it's above the threshold that we did limit, which was the 23, it will start up the air conditioner again, and it will lower the temperature. So it will keep our room on this temperature that we decide, 23, 24, 27, I don't know, it depends on where we live and depends on the temperature that we want. Of course, I'm just talking about temperature, but we can do exactly the same with humidity. If I go right over here, I have 65% humidity. It's 51.5 at this moment, so it doesn't need to work, and it's already shutting down. I don't know if you did here or not, but if I put here something like 50, which is probably the minimum, yeah, 50, it's the minimum of my AC, it already turned on so that it will push up to get from 51.2, which is at this moment, to the 50%. So this is something that it works on the temperature, and it also works in terms of the humidity, and of course cold or warmer. Now there's another mode, which is the manual. Basically I will control it manually, but I have to be honest, if we just want the manual control, there are a lot less complicated, well, it's not complicated, but a lot less complex devices and a lot cheaper devices that we have seen in the past. So the manual mode is something, granted, and then I've got the off mode, which is just turn off the unit in case I want to. As I said, it will be more useful in my opinion in areas where we have a very intensive usage of air conditioning. But if you want to have your home with a environment, a certain temperature, a certain humidity, and you don't want to worry about it, and you know that you will save your electricity bill at the end of the month, and of course at the end of the year, then this is a great investment for those that love technology and love to save some money and love to worry free about the air conditioning work. And this is a really interesting device in my opinion. Of course, I will leave a link down below so that you guys can check out all the features, prices, and so on and so forth. And that is it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did so, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto Jorge, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.